See NVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan 84 Recognized Roles. Personal note from WG6 Certification, NVC Integrity, and Individual Affiliation. We want to speak to the soil out of which this proposal grows. It comes from our dream of a world where all life is revered, where every person knows they matter, because they experience their needs fully valued and satisfied in joy-filled ways. We dream of a relationally oriented world where power is shared, access to resources is available to all, and we celebrate our interconnectedness as well as our unique ways of being. We offer this proposal as a step towards strong communities that have the support, companionship and courage to live nonviolence in ways that work for all living beings. Purpose of NVC 0 Recognized Roles. Small bullet. NVC 0 recognizes those who through the practice of NVC, live in ways that support a world that works for all on personal, interpersonal and systemic levels. In doing so, those serving in recognized roles become vital and accessible resources that co-create a world where all needs are fully valued, and where power and resources are used in service to attend to the needs of all life. Small bullet. To support our hope of thriving, interdependent communities around the world, we choose to recognize individuals who integrate the principles of NVC in project-based, community-focused and relationship-oriented ways. By having NVC 0 recognized roles, we encourage awareness and clarity of what the practice of NVC is and how it supports interdependence as concretely seen through words, actions, and choices in ways that inspire and inform others. Every time systemic levels is mentioned in this document, WG6 would like to make explicit that addressing issues of power, privilege, and access is critical to systemic engagement. While community is key to establishing recognized roles, small bullet. The practice of NVC is inherently entwined with community engagement. Confirmation about how one is living NVC principles, therefore, is best served by self-reflection and the multiple perspectives of community members. Small bullet. In community, individuals have the experience of co-creating and living in alignment with systems that support the mattering of all. Small bullet. In community, individuals have support, accountability and feedback to live in ways at the personal, interpersonal and systemic levels that further a world that works for all. Small bullet. In community, all are welcome who want to integrate NVC principles into their lives. 1. NVC 0 recognized roles are 1. NVC Practitioner 85. The title practitioner might vary from culture to culture. For example, Sadhak might be a title that represents the intention of taking on a sacred practice in India. Role description: integration and application of NVC principles into daily life on the personal, interpersonal and systemic levels. Living NVC principles is primarily done through the application of NVC principles in various social contexts including personal and professional arenas. Threshold: NVC practitioners will embody the qualities named in the matrix in the capable area, and the core commitments the majority of the time is determined by the community. The intent behind majority of the time is to point toward the willingness to live our full intention while holding with compassion and awareness that we will not reach it in every moment. NVC practitioner path includes understanding the impacts of power and privilege. Note: the matrix and core commitments may be modified as new practices evolve. Other sources referring to threshold qualities might be created later. 2. NVC Ambassador. The title Ambassador will be used within the organization. Depending on context, Ambassador might be translated into something applicable to a particular culture or context to convey the idea of service and contribution. For example, Sevak might be a title that represents a person in a role of sacred service to the community in India. In a corporate setting, Certified Trainer might be an alternative title for an NVC ambassador focusing in integration. A menu of possible alternative titles will be determined by the Global Role Recognition Stewardship Council. Examples of specified areas of focus. This list will evolve based on feedback from WEAVS, small bullet conflict transformation, small bullet education, small bullet family, small bullet healthcare, small bullet media and communication includes translation, small bullet NVC integration, formerly known as CNVC certified trainer, small bullet organizations and communities, small bullet structural power inequity, small bullet system development and transformation, small bullet facilitation, small bullet social action. Example of RR titles with a specified focus: NVC Ambassador in Conflict Transformation, or NVC Integration Ambassador. 286 Integrated NVC Practitioner with Post-Conventional Fluidity ***, who applies NVC principles and practices in specified fields. NVC principles are primarily shared through the application of the principles in various fields. Threshold: NVC ambassadors will embody the qualities named in the matrix at the integrated level, and the core commitments the majority of the time. The intent behind majority of the time is to point toward the willingness to live our full intention while holding with compassion and awareness that we will not reach it in every moment. NVC ambassador training includes understanding, applying and sharing the impacts of power and privilege with people in diverse contexts. The term post-conventional as used here indicates an understanding and integration of the essence of NVC that allows the form to be fluid, responsive and emergent depending on context. Steps to recognized roles are initial and renewal. 1. Live and apply NVC principles at the personal, interpersonal and systemic levels as fully as possible. Apprenticeship, weaves, NVC programs, self-study, etc. 2. Participate in one or more established or self-activated recognized role weaves. Weaves may have nested purposes, which means a weave that is formed for another purpose may choose to connect with an integration trustee and weave coach to implement the RR function as needed. Recognized role weaves may be small and virtual in some places where NVC is just starting to be known. 3. Annually participate in the feedback system that includes self-reflection and feedback from members of one or more RR weaves, or an organizational weave that is a 360-degree feedback system for renewal. 4. Keep online NVC profile up to date at the NVC Zero virtual home. 5. Attend RR cluster gatherings in person and or virtual when practical. NVC Zero structure. Recognized role RR weaves peer collaborative feedback communities. Small bullet recognized role weaves are relationally oriented transformational living, learning, feedback communities and social labs. Weaves focus on collaborative, 360-degree feedback for all weave participants, emphasizing support for an integrity of embodied and applied NVC. Each weave is connected to weave coaches, support for system setup, maintenance and conflict transformation, and is connected with an NVC integration trustee, support for quality, feedback and integrity of embodying and applying NVC. Membership may be fluid as individuals who have stepped into recognized roles may move into different weaves or stay with RR weave as mentors and collaborators with those who are seeking to step into recognized roles. Small bullet. The following systems provide necessary infrastructure for RR weaves and are co-created by weave members with support from weave coaches in ways that work in their own culture yet embody the underlying principles. Click on links for living examples of systems, or restorative system or feedback system for ongoing learning, initial recognition and annual renewal for all roles. This is the core of community-based discernment for recognition, empathy and grieving system. 387 decision-making system, economic system or resource-sharing system that supports all weave members, weave coaches and NVC integration trustees. This includes physical, financial, skill, service and time resources. A resource-sharing system may be set up as a part of the RR cluster so resources can be distributed between RR weaves according to need. Mentor and peer learning support system, access system. Small bullet subclusters of RR weaves provides the mechanism for sharing resources locally, regionally and globally among RR weaves as well as multi-dimensional feedback and learning. Small bullet. The Global Role Recognition Stewardship Council (GRRSC) Weave is the coordinating resource for all NVC0 recognized roles. The GRRSC tracks integrity, evolution, intercultural applications, access, practices, processes and Weave support. This Weave includes one representative from each NVC ambassador area of focus, an NVC integration trustee, a recognized role Weave coach, a member of the Creating Access Weave, and has multicultural representation from different parts of the world. Small bullet. Global Weaves for each NVC ambassador area of focus provide peer living, learning and feedback environments. Members are resources for each other and the global community, representing a variety of cultures where NVC is applied in these specific areas of focus. Small bullet Weaves may be established for functional roles, that is recognized role Weave coaches, NVC integration trustees, to provide support for learning, growth and consistency. NVC0 public profiles and internet on the virtual home. The use of an online profile for each NVC0 recognized NVC practitioner and ambassador will provide a self-managed and community-engaged process for individuals to specify the particular NVC applications they are involved in, as well as being a platform for feedback and recommendations. This resource will allow access to anyone with internet access to find people who are practicing and applying NVC in particular fields, contexts and cultures, as well as information on degree and type of experience and recommendations. Public online information could include small bullet NVC training received, small bullet cultural contexts in which one applies NVC, small bullet areas of focus where one applies NVC, real world applications, conflict transformation, education, family, healthcare, media and communication, includes translation, NVC integration, current, certified trainers, organizations and communities, structural power and equity, system development and transformation. Small bullet specific processes. One is versed in far small bullet system development and experience small bullet results of NVC application over time. Small bullet how one wants to support others. Small bullet recommendations from other NVC0 recognized practitioners and ambassadors. Small bullet recommendations / feedback from general public. Private virtual home capabilities could include small bullet personal correspondence with colleagues for feedback, small bullet collaboration coordination, small bullet celebrations / mornings. Functional roles to support recognized role Weave infrastructure. 1. Global Role Recognition Stewardship Council member. Small bullet job description to track integrity, evolution, intercultural applications, access, practices, processes and Weave support. Small bullet how chosen. Initially chosen from CNVC certified trainers or individuals with comparable experience who are chosen through a sociocratic election process within the Implementation Council. Initial terms to be 1, 2 or 3 years to vary. Rotation on/off GRRSC. Ongoing GRRSC members are chosen through a sociocratic election process within national recognized role Weaves and or GRRSC. 3-year terms. Small bullet onboarding. Initially it will involve learning from each other and sharing expertise in their area of focus. For example, the Creating Access Weave representative sharing about access, power and privilege. The NVC integration trustee sharing about the focus of that work, etc. This process will be developed by the first GRRSC based on the issues they discover are relevant to their roles. 2. Recognized role Weave coach. Small bullet job description, support for Weave system setup, maintenance and conflict transformation with and in between Weaves. Weave coaches also provide feedback for individuals and communities as requested and desired. Small bullet how chosen. Initially chosen from CNVC certified trainers or individuals with comparable experience who are chosen through a sociocratic election process within the Implementation Council. Ongoing, Weave coaches are chosen through a sociocratic election process within national recognized role Weaves and or GRRSC. Small bullet onboarding. Be a participant in an organizational Weave Coach Weave, where each participant with 1 year or less experience as a Weave coach is supported by a mentor, and receives guidance and system setup and conflict transformation as needed. Weave coaches will receive training on issues of power/oppression by an NVC0 recognized NVC ambassador with personal experience of having lived and navigated the experience of being a person with less privilege. 5. Empower. Members of the Weave share experiences for ongoing learning in contextualized NVC systems and practices throughout the world. 3. NVC Integration Trustee. Current assessor. Small bullet job description. Supports Weaves in engaging in open feedback for embodying and applying NVC as well as discernment of NVC integrity. NVC Integration Trustees also provide feedback to individuals seeking recognized roles and are part of the 360-degree feedback process in recognized role Weaves. Integration Trustees may have one or more recognized role Weaves they are supporting. Small bullet how chosen. Initially chosen from CNVC certified trainers, not only current assessors, who are chosen through a sociocratic election process within the Implementation Council. Ongoing, NVC Integration Trustees are chosen from NVC0 ambassadors through a sociocratic election process within National Affiliation Weaves and GRRSC. Small bullet onboarding. Use process developed by CCC Certification Core Council. Now initially. Use criteria from current certification materials for sociocratic elections. Be a participant in an organizational integration trustee Weave, where each integration trustee of less than a year apprentices with an integration trustee that has been working in that role for more than a year. Integration trustees will receive training on issues of power/oppression, including the impact of their structural power and how it plays out in the process of recognition by an NVC0 recognized NVC ambassador with personal experience of having lived and navigated the experience of being a person with less privilege and power. Members share experiences for ongoing learning in contextualized NVC systems and practices throughout the world. Possible challenges and questions. 1. How will you be able to establish Weaves that function as peer collaborative communities in low-density areas? Weaves will use all options available in any given area to establish relationships and community. That might include in-person gatherings with some members traveling when practical, as well as technological options like those provided in the virtual home. Some Weaves will have members from various continents. For example, the current Trainer Candidate Community Path (TCCP) could become a Iran Weave with members from the US, Canada, Uganda, Venezuela and Myanmar. 2. How do you support Weaves holding to high levels of integrity in their selection of those serving in recognized roles and not having it become a popularity contest? We are hoping the specificity of qualities/behaviors that we are seeking in those taking on recognized roles, matrix and core commitments will support clarity on what the roles mean and what mutual experiences we are asking people to speak to. The integrity of the feedback process is key to this. Co-creating a culture where open, honest feedback is seen as a gift is developed over time and will be supported by Weave coaches as well as NVC integration trustees. Established Weaves that have developed a culture of open honest feedback can also be resources for newly forming Weaves. 3. How do you address the cultural norms in many parts of the world that make open, honest feedback challenging? Weave coaches and representatives from Creating Access Weaves will work together with communities to understand the needs met through honest feedback as well as the specific cultural ways that those needs could be met with strategies that work for everyone. 4. How will the Weaves fit into the NVC0 community and NVC0 organization? The GRRSC will be part of the NVC0 organization. Iran Weaves may be as well, meaning members have taken steps to become partners. It is likely that most of the Iran Weaves will be part of the NVC0 community. This is work for the Integration Council. 5. Can you walk me through an example of how someone would start from no NVC experience to become an NVC ambassador? Suppose I'm a 25-year-old woman in Kampala, Uganda who found Marshall's book and caught the NVC bug. I read everything I can, listen to NVC downloads, get the workbook, and pretty soon I have a practice group of 5 people regularly attending. We as a group decide we want to live this more, so we seek to become a Aron Weave within NVCO. We get connected with our Aron Weave coach, co-create the system's infrastructure, connect with an NVC integration trustee, and become a recognized role weave. This may need to happen virtually. If possible, we also connect with local NVC ambassadors for learning and growth. Our group is taking on a project of bringing NVC into a local school. We are working to integrate these skills into our home lives, and we practice with each other, learning and getting feedback from each other. We seek out connection with and learning from other partners and weaves, gathering with the recognized role clusters when possible for extended community. Along with the NVC integration trustee, we decide when we are ready to take on the recognized role of NVC practitioners. If I want to become an NVC ambassador, I continue work in the area of focus I choose and become a member of our Aron Weave. I continue to embody NVC and apply NVC in that area. When I feel ready and the feedback from my Weave is consistent with the criteria for NVC ambassador role, then I step into that role. 6. What is meant by community? Is there flexibility? It's how we already operate in many places in the world. This proposal relies on what we are already living: practice groups, assessors group, trainer groups, Dutch, Bank, etc. We are building off what is already our strength. Community weaves have room to be designed in many different ways. 7. NVC Zero strongly encourages all practitioners and ambassadors to attend events and to remain fully active in the community on an ongoing basis, to contribute to others' learning, to strengthen connection in the community, and to continue their own learning and growth. 7C NVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan 91 Learning Events about NVC Zero Sponsored Trainings/Events Purpose/Principles of Trainings/Events offered by the NVC Zero Learning Event Weave. Small bullet to nourish the aliveness and integrity of NVC so that we can explore and embody it ever more deeply as a global learning community. Small bullet to spread the spirit of NVC globally, offering a deeply transformational experience facilitated by diverse and experienced international teams. Small bullet to empower and strengthen local, regional, and global NVC communities. Big picture: small bullet NVC is not static. It is an ongoing exploration into the mystery of self-connection and connection with the other. We encourage weaves to actively learn from and create learning events that integrate the incredible richness of other practices and explorations in the field of empowering consciousness, connection, healing, and systems transformation. For example, in a relationship-focusing process, interpersonal neurobiology, restorative circles, art of hosting, sociocracy, integral theory, reinventing organizations. Instead of imagining that NVC learning events as we know them are the best way to share the consciousness and the skills of NVC, we see weaves as exploring ongoing new ways and frameworks of sharing and exploring together. Small bullet: while the form of NVC is distinct and unique, its essential qualities, such as presence, authenticity, empathy, compassion, interdependence and collaboration, are shared by multiple approaches and traditions. Therefore, learning events integrate a respect for the profound gift of Marshall's unique vision, the many insights Marshall drew from various sources, and the evolutionary unfolding of NVC, which is consistently emerging in the global community. Trainings/events in general. Small bullet NVC Zero Learning Events Weave global/regional/local initiate, co-create, sponsor, or encourage at least 3 types of regular events. International Intensive Trainings (NTS). These 9-day trainings have the general form of trainers offering sessions on NVC only, with the specific core curriculum. Honoring the core elements of NTS, there is flexibility for ongoing learning and evolution. Note: It is left to the Transition Task Force to find ways to ensure that any legal rights to NTS that CNVC current holds will support this happening. 1. Facilitated learning gatherings, with the support of specialists in large group facilitation. For instance, ART hosting learning event Weave initiates and sponsors a global gathering of NVC0 ambassadors and NVC practitioners every 2 years, and alternatively one on each continent, with focus on strengthening the global community, learning from each other and sensing into what new wants to emerge. These events can also be hands-on project-based, supporting local communities in whatever area support might be needed. Here we do not offer formal trainings, but rather we all learn from each other and from the whole, as we explore dilemmas and questions together, create projects, make decisions, etc. It is desirable that planning for these learning events for the NVC community be coordinated with planning for the global convention for partners in the NVC organization. Self-organized NVC gatherings, events founded on co-creation and shared leadership, that is, open space technology events, yearly European NVC festival, emergent gatherings, etc. These events can be combined back-to-back and are together called a global convention. Small bullet all events are a collaboration between local ideas and initiatives, with ideas and initiatives from the NVC0 learning events weave, with help of deeply emergent and transparent dialogues. Small bullet events and trainings support hands-on applications such as projects that work with prisons, homeless populations, refugees, supporting regional and local communities, etc. Small bullet we see a healthy organization as one that is always learning through integrating and transcending new information and perspectives. In this way, we see NTS being stewarded with ongoing openness and curiosity, drawing from past experiences and ever exploring what else wants to emerge. Small bullet when sponsoring NTS outside of a Western cultural context, organizers embody a humble and learning attitude. Rather than trying to reproduce the structures and ways that work within the dominant Western culture, organizers draw on local experience and wisdom, being open to completely reinvent an NT within the definition of the NT from above for the specific culture, so that the event still delivers the skills and awareness it is meant to, yet deeply honors and adjusts to the local culture and values. Small bullet each NT explores ways for it to become ever more of a circle, a co-learning community, instead of remaining within the old paradigm of people who know, trainers teaching people who don't know, participants, so that the pyramid gets flattened to a circle of vulnerable people, sharing their hearts and together learning from the future as it emerges in front of their eyes. Small bullet every NT team will decide whether the event will be a general NT or have a specific thematic focus such as social change, education, couples and intimacy, spirituality, etc. Small bullet every NT team, after the completion of the training, collectively harvests learnings and proposals, and posts them in a web document, in not more than a one-page format. Small bullet every new NT team discusses, during their first online team meeting when preparing for an NT, these past experiences. 2. Small bullet when underserved communities are involved, consult with the Access Weave about who will be on the NT team. The Access Weave will recommend NVC ambassadors with relevant experience, or if there are not NVC ambassadors with relevant experience, NVC practitioners with relevant experience. Small bullet while learning events generate funding to support projects within the NVC community. In the case of most NTS, the original intention of the learning events is to follow purpose/principles of trainings/events offered by the learning event weave. Small bullet, blank, 3C NVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan 90 for Social Change and PC Building. The purpose of this part of the plan is to be present to suffering in the world by connecting NVC and the whole NVC community more directly to social change and PC building efforts in the world, including in consciousness, thinking, and action. To empower all, and especially those with less access to resources, we value the partnership paradigm expressed in the words of this Aboriginal collective. If you have come here to help me, then you are wasting your time, but if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, Then let us work together. Aboriginal Activists Group, Queensland, 1970s via Lelia Watson, the Aboriginal activist who is credited with popularizing this quote. https://ian.wikipedia.org/viki/Lila Watson. To this end, we, the Social Change and PC Building Working Group, want to develop a system that supports empowerment and self-organization by sprouting the collective intelligence of the NVC community in relation to social change and PC building. This will bring together projects, people and resources, and offer platforms for collaboration. By creating this space, we hope to bring social change and PC building into focus for the NVC community and beyond. Specifically, 1. That social change and PC building be the main activity within the projects cluster of the new organization. That PC building be a subcluster within the larger cluster B. That one of the tasks of the leadership that emerges within the cluster be supporting the activities listed below C. That another task be designing and building an infrastructure for projects to function well, including training in what it takes to run a project. For example, how to connect with funding weaves to receive coaching and support with raising funds. How to build credibility in the world. How to engage the community to invite and find more people to join the newly formed weave, etc. D. That another task be ongoing attention to the knowledge and resources available within the organization and to the situation in the world, and strategically proposing new projects that individuals may initiate within the project's cluster. 1, 2. A social change and PC building hub on the new organization's virtual home, which will fly a colorful hub with hot links, including live chat lines, in the center, and 6 surrounding spokes. 3. The social change and PC building weave select computer savvy administrator S to maintain the spokes. See end of this section of the plan for specifics, circumflex chat lines, and updating and monitoring of information. 2. The spokes of the social change and PC building hub using terminology of spoke and hub when we are visualizing it as a wheel. We also visualize this as a lotus or sunflower, so below is the center of the lotus, or sunflower, consciousness, center of the hub and graphic, B. Sharing projects, B. H. Below are the spokes/hot links surrounding a, C. Sharing people resources/allies, D. Training exchange, E. Funding exchange, G. Featured projects, H. Open forum for sharing and deepening our awareness, visions, ampersand dreams. Each spoke in detailed technical note. We have indicated where these can be automatically generated and which items we want to be moderated. Consciousness, the central hub. How do we support the world's systems in becoming more life-serving, and to directly support peace and conflict transformation in the world? Here is a list of questions to ask ourselves as ambassadors, practitioners, activists, participants in social action and peacemaking work to support our being in and contributing to NVC consciousness. We also envision producing a colorful poster of this center hub, hanging in physical and virtual meeting places, activist offices, etc. all over the globe, in many languages. Self-alignment and attunement. 1. What questions do I want to ask myself so that my words and actions are in alignment with the consciousness of nonviolent communication, compassion and nonviolence? 2. What fears and judgments of other people, groups and myself do I have that might interfere with my doing this? 3. What is moving me right now to make choices to speak, to not speak, to participate, etc.? 4. Am I connected to the suffering that is present in the room? 5. Am I aware of my role or position in relation to the suffering that is present in the room? 2. 6. Am I connected to the suffering in the community we are working with? 96. 7. Am I aware of my role or position in relation to the suffering in the community that we are working with? 8. Am I connected to the suffering in the world at large? 9. Am I aware of my role or position in relation to the suffering in the world? 10. What are my dreams and visions for this project and the way I am present and contributing in it? 11. Am I being touched and impacted right now by what we are doing together in this moment? 12. Am I being touched and impacted right now by the people I'm here with in this moment? How? 13. Am I connecting with, and connected to, the people in the room right now? Am I hearing what they are saying? Are they involved in making all decisions that affect them? 14. Am I connecting with, and connected to, the people in the region? 15. What resources do I need and what requests do I have so that I can stay present, connected and open-hearted? 16. Am I being affected and changed by my participation in this meeting, discussion, movement, project? How? Project alignment and attunement 1. Have I looked deeply to determine if this movement/project upholds the intention to contribute to a better life for everyone involved? 2. How would people know from my behavior that I care about the world and that I am seeing to it that the world will still be there in a healthy way for those who will come after me? How would people know? 3. Do I have a plan for my personal engagement that makes clear that I am not taking sides? 4. Am I checking in with myself that my involvement does not seek to defeat or humiliate the opponent, but to win their friendship and understanding? Martin Luther King. 5. Do I have clarity about whether my project is addressing individuals and or structures? We recommend making an intentional decision. 6. Am I paying attention to the implications of giving people a certain title, rank, and status, as a result of the work we are doing? 7. Who are my allies and how do I want to connect with them? 8. Is what I am trying to do in alignment with the needs and desires of the folks I am doing this project with? What system do I have in place to check that? 9. Decision making. Who is not in the room, whose voice has something to add because they are directly affected or have specific relevant expertise? Who is missing? For example, who is in the room making decisions about what's going to happen at a training, including curriculum? 10. Resources. How can whatever we do with this intervention support resources flowing from where they are to where they're needed? For example, creating conditions so that material resources that are locally identified as needed, and not just knowledge, will flow into the community. 11. How are we addressing unequal access to resources and participation among the project participants and in the target community itself? 397 for NVC ambassadors in integration who offer trainings. 1. Have you considered supporting or setting up a project with obvious community benefit, as an alternative to offering trainings? Examples. 2. Have you considered giving NVC training for free, and inviting the people who come to your events to support you to continue to do this? Spokes surrounding the above alignment center. B. Connecting with projects. This spoke will be moderated as indicated below. We offer this listing of social change and PC building projects to support the world systems in becoming more life-serving, and to directly support peace and conflict transformation in the world. Inspire and connect change makers all over the world. Support social change and peacemaking projects worldwide. Highlight that social change and peacemaking (SCP) are integral to NVC. Increase the NVC network's engagement in SCP projects by publicizing them. Increase synergy by matching NVC integration ambassadors' offers with requests from SCP projects for NVC support. Support NVC integration ambassadors by publicizing their SCP work. We suggest creating a web form to upload project details as follows. Add your social change or PC building SCP, project name of project, vision/mission of your project, project description, date. Are there recognized NVC ambassadors or NVC practitioners involved? Website, contact person, email address, Facebook name. For other social media links, 98 phone no. Languages, location, website if available, resources available. What kind of support are you seeking? Resource people? Do you have a budget for this? Financial support? Information. Would you like to chat with an NVC ambassador? Anyone can add projects, and the content is also reviewed for alignment and integrity with NVC Zero Vision. Purpose, and Mission by SCP Weave moderators. Mickey Kashdan has ideas for how to quantify alignment with NVC principles. C. Connecting with ambassadors/practitioners/activists/allies. This is a hub for anyone to find allies and to offer yourself and your contribution in specific areas. Community support makes it easier to engage in social change. We want to support you to identify the people who are passionate about what you are passionate about. We want to create a network where we can support each other, sharing resources and expertise. Allies are all the people who are passionate about particular topics, and are listed by topic. NVC ambassadors are the main resource in NVCO. They have been through NVCO's recognized role process and have expressed the following goals: connection to NVCO, contribution to our vision, credibility, mutual support, and personal growth. NVC ambassadors have had rigorous training and self-study in 3 distinct areas: a deep knowledge of NVC concepts, skills for teaching NVC, and modeling NVC skills and consciousness in everyday living. Create a new listing of SCP allies, searchable by topic. Create a web-based form to upload allies' details as follows. Would you like to offer yourself as a resource person or ally to people looking for NVC-inspired support? Ally form fields: name, location. What experience do you have with NVC? 5. Which social change and peacemaking topics are you passionate about? See drop-down list below. What skills and experience do you have in these areas? Website, email address, phone no. Languages, possible topics drop-down menu. In process, environment, business, healthcare, schools/education, prisons, restorative justice, violence prevention, youth programs, peacemaking/nonviolence, human rights, animal rights, women's and girls' empowerment, e-sharing and deepening our training and resources. This spoke's purpose is to open and deepen the awareness of NVC ambassadors and NVC practitioners to the abundance of complementary frameworks in the world today, and to link NVC trainings and resources to like-minded and hearted modalities and movements. Here we create an open forum and archive to share social change and peacemaking resources. It is intended for all, to build understanding of social change and how it works, and to strengthen social and self-awareness that best supports these processes. Anyone can add content, and the content is also reviewed for alignment and integrity by SCP Weave moderators. 1. Listing of trainings on social change and PC building from NVC ambassadors and other trainers, and other trainings in the field that focus on nonviolent struggle or PC building strategies. 6. Technical note: 100-day listing of trainings on social change and PC building from NVC ambassadors, drawn from the main listing of trainings by NVC ambassadors listed with the topic of social change or PC building. B. Listing of other trainings in the field that focus on nonviolent struggle or PC building strategies. C. Listings of trainings in the area of access to training materials for building capacity in social change and PC building. Small bullet materials that ambassadors are using to support people involved in social change and PC building. Small bullet reading suggestions, films and documentaries, handbooks and methodologies for social change. Small bullet: what are the alternatives to trainings? Small bullet questioning assumptions, includes link to checklist and consciousness above. Small bullet link to access Weave and resources. E. Sharing funding resources: listing of organizations that fund NVC social change projects, as well as listing of examples of grant proposals and existing Weaves that have successfully funded work so that new projects can learn from them. Technical note: anyone can add content, and the content is also reviewed for alignment and integrity with NVC Zero vision, mission and purpose by SCP Weave moderators. F. Sharing featured projects: moderated blog of NVC-inspired social change stories, for example reports on experience in integrating NVC principles into new campaigns or in engaging in ongoing campaigns, and the impacts it generated, lessons learned, etc. Technical note: anyone can add content, and the content is also reviewed for alignment and integrity with NVC Zero vision, mission and purpose by SCP Weave moderators. G. Sharing and deepening our dreams and understanding. We celebrate that NVC is only one of so many forums and frameworks for thinking about and carrying out transformation of the world domination systems to peaceful, compassionate world systems. This is a forum to share and exchange about frameworks and resources to create more depth, effectiveness and aliveness to everyone's involvement. 7. 101 discussion board with strategic collaboration spaces to support suggesting or engaging in ongoing initiatives and campaigns in ways that are rooted in NVC principles. Technical note, this is intended as a public space that is not just NVC ambassadors and NVC practitioners. Question to SCP members, do we intend posts to be moderated or not? 3. The SCP-Weave will select moderators with admin privileges to help maintain alignment and integrity of content on the Hub with NVC Zero vision, mission and purpose roles, review alignment and integrity, and update SCP Hub, including review project posts in B. projects for relevance to NVC, for example it being in the social change and peacemaking arena. A NVC ambassador or NVC practitioner already being involved. Is it in alignment with the purpose of CNVC? C mission and vision. WG contribution. Help to match B. projects with C. allies. Review and update D. resources and E. funding. Resources invite and approve posts and F. featured projects. Moderate G. discussion board. Skills needed, experience and passion for SCP and web admin. Languages. Hours. We estimate 5 hours per week for this role. 8. 102 CNVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan Agreements and Systems. This part of the Integrated Plan includes all operational agreements (OAS) and systems that have been developed during the working groups and integration phases. Placeholders for additional agreements to be developed are in the Implementation Tasks section of the plan. Here's a summary of what's in the documents in this part of the plan. Governance. This document contains OAS that pertain to the structural operation of NVC-0 and in particular to decision-making. It answers the fundamental questions related to decision-making: who makes which decisions? Who gives input? What process is used? It also addresses a few structural questions about Weave operation. Access. This document contains OAS that pertain to the fundamental structural commitment to shift global and organizational patterns of power and privilege. The purpose is to anchor the commitment with enough agreements to overcome habitual patterns. Feedback. This document contains the layout of the preliminary feedback system as it is designed to operate within NVCO. It answers the questions: who gives feedback? Who receives it? What is the feedback about? How is it given? Etc. Conflict. This document contains the layout of the preliminary conflict transformation system as it is designed to operate within NVCO. It provides methods for individuals to access support for resolving conflicts, and for such support to be available. Onboarding. This document contains the preliminary process by which new partners join NVCO. It details the steps and some of the criteria. 1. 103 CNVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan Governance Operational Agreements OAS 1. Organizational weaves consist of at least 3 and no more than 12 partners, such that the weave divides when it numbers more than 12 people. Please note, the division of the weaves in 2 groups no larger than 12 is essential for 2 reasons: 1. To support effective decision-making and 2. To support effective collaborative action by the formation of self-steering teams. Weaves divide in non-overlapping ways, to minimize the risk of having 2 entities that claim ownership of the same territory or topic. For weaves formed based on geographic proximity, this could mean, for example, north and south part of the location of the original weave. For weaves formed based on themes, this could mean, for example, research and administration within a grant-writing weave. Each of these sub-weaves then invites additional people to join them as needed. The original weave then shifts its function to coordination between the 2 or more sub-weaves that it has seeded and is populated by people selected from them. The largest unit of the weaves is the weave cluster. Any number of partners might come together to learn, exchange ideas, brainstorm new projects, etc. as they see fit. It is at the deciding and the doing of work stages that we see the division as being essential. Needs, progress, effective action. 2. Individual decisions are made using a modified version of the advice process as defined by Frederick Laloux, author of Reinventing Organizations. In the original, an individual is welcome to make any decision provided they have sought advice from those specifically affected by the decision as well as from those with relevant expertise. Such advice is always considered non-binding regardless of who gives it. The modification is that anyone in the advice process, the person asking for advice or anyone providing advice, is welcome to ask for a group decision-making process, and that request is binding. This might happen if the stakes are particularly high, or there is controversy regarding the decision, or for any other considered reason. When a request for group decision-making is made, the person requesting it and the originator of the proposed decision collaboratively decide together who to include in that process based on their understanding of who would be affected and who has relevant expertise. Needs, individual autonomy and creativity. Aiming for solutions that attend to as many needs as possible. 3. Group decisions are made using processes other than majority vote, for example convergent facilitation, measuring resistance, sociocratic decision-making, fast consenting, dynamic facilitation, etc. Needs, reliability, sustainability, collaboration, inclusion, and effectiveness in groups. 4. Any organizational weave commits to having at least one partner who is both trusted by the group and willing to engage with individuals from other weaves even when there is ongoing conflict between the weave and other weaves within NVCO. Needs, flexibility in organizing, trust in people's ability to handle their own affairs. 5. Anytime a weave selects a person to serve on another weave or body, for example local weave selecting a person to serve on a regional weave, they use sociocratic elections to do so. Note, this is the only aspect of sociocracy incorporated into NVCO's governance. Needs, reliability, inclusion, efficiency, meaning, service. 6. When an ad hoc decision-making weave is formed, the process of forming it will follow random selection from among all registered partners within the domain of this body's operation. See this article for a deep analysis of random selection in politics. Needs, clarity, emergence of deep wisdom, full representation. 2C NVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan Creating Access Operational Agreements OAS 105 1. Any weave that has an international scope makes every effort to include partners from both the global North and South, and also makes an effort to include people from marginalized groups within the global North and South, not just those with access and privilege. Every weave that has a smaller scope makes a similar effort to include partners from marginalized groups within their area of scope. 2. Any funding weave that forms allocates X% of any funds they raise to a general fund that is established to support weaves and activities related to the Global South and within the Global North to marginalized communities. This fund will be allocated by the sole discretion of the funding weave established to attend to resource flow into the Global South, prioritizing marginalized communities there, and within the Global North to marginalized communities. Note, the actual percent to be allocated is to be determined by the Implementation Council. 3. Any community interface weave uses the support of its access member to form itself in a way that reflects the diversity within its domain and to operate in ways that transform patterns of privilege as they play out in its domain. Every such weave nominates an access member to their weave. Someone who is familiar with issues of privilege and access in their domain or who is committed to seeking training and coaching in this area. B. The access member in each community interface weave monitors the weave to determine if the weave reflects the diversity within its domain and suggests strategies to ameliorate any deficits. C. The access member is identified within the geographic domain as the local point of contact for anyone within that geographic region with challenges related to privilege. 1. 4. Access members of various weebs create a system for support for each other, both but/y and groups, to ensure ongoing support and feedback. 5. A regional access person is identified as well, who can be a secondary point of contact for anyone within the local region who wishes to discuss access issues but needs more trust that their needs and perspective can be understood and attended to with sufficient care than they have with regards to the local access person. 6. Weeb might choose not to have a designated access person if they've already integrated awareness of access issues in some other way, or if the focus of the weeb is one that makes issues of access unlikely to be relevant. 7. The name of the access representative or the statement about access is published on the virtual home and shared with the relevant access weeb. 8. To see NVC New Future Process, Integrated Plan Initial Feedback System, Initial 107. What is the purpose of the feedback? Support the continued learning within NVC 0 about 1. Fulfilling its purpose. 2. Carrying out its mission. 3. Operating in line with its values. 4. Attending to its commitment to transform power relations and flow of resources. 5. Continuing to improve and refine its functioning and structure. Note: this feedback system is for NVC 0 as an organization. Recognized role weebs will continue to have their own feedback systems for their purpose, which is about learning and integration of NVC principles and practices at the individual level. Who receives feedback? Partners, organizational weebs, specialized roles, leadership roles. Who gives feedback? Basic premise: anyone is welcome to give anyone else feedback. Some feedback flows are essential for the necessary learning to continue, and thus it is important to solicit them, not just be open to them. Collectively, in one form or another, entities within NVC 0 will need to receive feedback from partners, members, those in specialized roles, the public, and whole weebs. What is feedback given about? Criteria for feedback at all levels. The feedback is both on what is being done and on how it's being done. The what relates to the purpose, and the how relates to the values. 1. For all partners, the focus of feedback is on individual functioning, both at the level of capacity to collaborate and embody the values, and at the level of specific elements related to the particular role the partner is taking within the weebs the partner is part of. 1. General criteria. 108I. Capacity to collaborate. 1. Searching for concrete solutions based on what's important to all and on the shared purpose. 2. Staying in dialogue in the face of disagreements. 3. Self-responsibility, clarity in acknowledging one's own role, and in untangling assumptions and emotional baggage. 4. Aiming for solutions that work for everyone. 5. Finding a level of understanding that supports shared engagement and co-holding of needs. 6. Focusing on sufficient connection to match the purpose at hand, not more and not less. 7. Attending to relationships as well as to outcomes. 8. Providing feedback to others. 9. Receiving feedback with willingness to connect and learn. 10. Taking into consideration power differences and their effects. 2. Decision-making. 1. Using the advice process. 2. Communicating about decisions. 3. Operational agreements. 1. Willingness to apply them. 2. Discernment about when to change. 3. Responsibility in communicating changes when they occur. 4. Power and access. 1. Support for organizational commitment to conscious redirection of resources to where they are most needed. 2. Awareness and willingness to learn about resource disparities in the world and about the dynamics of power and privilege. V. Additional criteria to be developed organically over time as the system is tested. B. Specific criteria relevant to role in fulfilling purpose. I. These criteria will be developed within weebs based on their specific functions and purpose. 2. The criteria will be posted so that anyone who wants to give feedback can utilize them or give feedback on the criteria themselves. 3. Over time, Some of these criteria may become generally applicable to all functions. 2. For weaves, feedback is an operational agreement, an integral part of the function of the weave. It is the most specified, ongoing kind of feedback. The focus is on team functioning and on capacity to attend to the purpose for which the weave was formed. When the weave forms, it is asked to define its feedback mechanisms, including criteria for feedback within the weave, flow of feedback within the weave, and frequency. B. Anytime a weave takes on a significant project, it will develop and apply an end-of-project feedback mechanism to evaluate what can be learned from each project undertaken within NVCO. C. Anytime a weave puts on an event, it is asked to solicit feedback from those participating in the event, including the public. This includes designing, asking for, receiving, analyzing, integrating, and posting the results. D. Any weave that regularly interacts with the public or with the NVC0 community is asked to develop mechanisms for designing, asking for, receiving, analyzing, integrating, and posting the results of feedback from those affected. E. Weave to weave. Any two weaves that are going to work together on a project specify the nature of their relationship, including how they are going to give each other feedback about how they are working together. F. When a weave has functions that coordinate between different weaves or represents weaves, each of the weaves within its domain give feedback to the umbrella weave in terms of how well they experience the quality of decision-making, coordination, power sharing, and other relevant functions within the umbrella weave. 3. NVC0 specialized roles, for example integration trustee. An NVC0 specialized role refers to a role that is present in multiple weaves, or which serves people in multiple weaves. B. Anytime a specialized role is created within NVCO, the design of the role will include the criteria for feedback for that role based on the functions of that role. C. For existing SRS, the criteria for feedback will be evaluated periodically. 4. Leadership roles. Any leadership role within NVC0 will include the criteria for feedback for that role in particular based on the carefully designed functions for that role. B. In addition, any leadership role will also have the following criteria. I. Accurate discernment of what is wanted by the people that the person is leading. 2. Inspiration and passion. 3. Care for the whole. 4. Power sharing when making decisions, including inviting dissent. 3. 110V. Sensitivity to encourage in relation to power, privilege, and cultural differences. 6. Engaging effectively with cultural differences. C. These criteria will continue to evolve as the feedback system is evaluated. How is it given? 1. Feedback can be given in writing, in person, or via phone or video conferencing, one-on-one or within groups. 2. As much as possible, feedback is given openly, that is not anonymously. 3. Support for and training in NVC-based feedback, both giving and receiving, are made available to partners as much as possible by NVC ambassadors with specialty or experience in organizational settings in one of the following ways. Written or visual materials as part of the resources of NVC0B. Availability for one-on-one coaching to anyone who wants support with preparing for giving feedback. C. Workshops or clinics for learning what is the frequency. 1. Unsolicited feedback can flow at any time. 2. Each weave decides the frequency of meetings dedicated to sharing feedback, no less than quarterly, which means that each partner receives feedback within weaves at least quarterly unless there is a specific need or circumstance that leads the weave to make a different choice, in which case, the weave is asked to give feedback about that to those who monitor operational agreements. 3. Specialized roles organize formal feedback on a quarterly basis, open to anyone, and solicit feedback on a rotating basis from specific areas within NVC0. 4. Those in organization-wide leadership roles organize formal feedback on a monthly basis, open to anyone, and solicit feedback on a rotating basis from specific areas within NVC 0 power. Whenever any individual or weave have specific power in their function, the design of feedback for those roles or weaves will include ways of attending to power issues. For example, 1. A person giving feedback to someone within senior may request that the feedback be given publicly or privately, with or without others present, with or without an access person supporting them if they need that, etc. 2. Feedback can be given to the senior weave, not just to the senior partner. 4. 111. 3. Feedback to people on the Global Council may be given anonymously if this is the only way it can be given based on cultural norms or other access constraints. Miscellaneous recommendations. 1. Each partner gets feedback from more than one source within NVCO. Since everyone in a weave works together and feedback is shared within a weave, a whole weave is considered one source. If a partner participates in more than one weave, that counts as two sources. Other sources could include other weaves, people in recognized roles, mentors, or students so long as they are partners. 2. If at any time